Hey everybody, it's Ace. Welcome back to another video. It's 2025, which means that Delta Force has been out for a little over a month now. We have in total 8 operators in the game now. I wanted to compare all of them, create a tier list for you, and just show strengths and weaknesses of each operator and provide 1 or 2 tips for each of them. So if you beat me, leave a like and subscribe, and let's get into it. Starting with Toxik, she's a medic. I will place Toxik immediately into A tier. Why? For 2 reasons. First, she's a medic, which means of course she can heal herself and her allies, allowing for more aggressive play, and her ultimate, the Swarm Drone, the Dragonflies, are very annoying. They're annoying for a couple of reasons. The first one is that sometimes this ultimate seems to go through walls, so people who weren't meant to be hit by it are still hit by it, which means that you can be even more aggressive on her. And the second one, of course, is that she has access to some of the best weapon in the game, which would be SMG-45. The Bison, the SMGs in general are incredibly strong, and her being a medic having access to that is excellent because it allows for hipfire builds, which means it all supports the aggressive play. The reason she's not in S tier, because in my opinion she's weaker than Roy, also known as Stinger, because she doesn't have access to ammunition. So he, because he can heal himself, has access to ammunition, and she does not. So if you do get lucky and get a big flank and you kill a bunch of people, sometimes you do run out of ammunition on her and then you're stuck with your revolver or your Glock 18, and it can feel very, very bad at times. For that reason, Toxik is in A tier. And I will say, if you know the game and you know the maps and you know exactly where to use Toxik, for example on Shafted, she can be even better. Then she can reach S tier in your personal tier list for sure. But for a new player, Toxik, she has a skill expression which needs to be a little bit explored, so Toxik is A tier. Uluru. Before we place Uluru, just want to say a couple of things about the Engineer class. Engineer class is inherently a little bit weaker than the other classes for a few reasons. The first reason is that they cannot, of course, heal themselves, and they don't have smoke grenades. They make up for this with other things, but also be like the 2 reasons. However, Uluru himself will be in S tier for me personally for a couple of reasons. First, we mentioned he's an engineer, which means he adopts a more passive playstyle, right? Which would revolve around holding angles and head glitches. Then what is fucking better than having an operator which creates its own head glitches? Yes, you heard me correctly. Uluru's ability, his little half walls that he creates, are actual head glitches. So how do I make these head glitches, Ace? So you make one full wall, and then on top of that wall, you make a half wall, and make yourself a head glitch. This is extremely strong the more hours you have in Delta Force and the more you understand the maps and where to create those really annoying angles. And then on top of that, he has access to guns which operate extremely annoyingly from head glitches, like the PEC-AM General Machine Gun and M250 Light Machine Gun, which kill you in 3 to 4 shots up to like 50 meters down range, making him extremely oppressive, especially on defense. He's like extremely overpowered on defense. And then he has access to a Molotov cocktail type of incendiary grenade, which lasts so long, you can deny massive areas of people, you can deny resurrections, you can throw this Molotov cocktail into smoke, so denying push from Roy or Toxik, really annoying operator. And then, of course, he has his ultimate, which is a TV missile, basically copied from Liz from Battlefield 2042. This is the weaker part of Uluru, in my opinion. Yes, you can get good with it, but the controls on it, the sensitivity are really cancer, in my opinion, and not very fun to use. But it gives you another option for anti-tank capability. And then you also have access, of course, to the engineer tools like the APS or the RPG, giving you even more options for the tank with the RPG, or an option to snipe snipers with it. Or you can take the anti-tank mine or the APS. You can put the APS, for example, behind you on the head glitch, so you're completely immune to explosives. This guy is really insane. If you're a new player, I would maybe not explore him immediately and go with the other engineer if you only want to play engineer. But this guy is very fun the more hours you have in Delta Force, for sure. Moving to our first recon class, Luna is S tier for a reason of her ultimate is very oppressive. It's very annoying. I'm actually shocked that 1 month into Delta Force this wasn't nerfed. If you are living under a rock and you don't know what this is basically a wall hack. Yes, it's literally a cheat. She shoots an arrow that she can basically shoot from across the map, the entire landscape, a global ultimate basically, which travels in a straight line, spotting everybody in its radius, and the radius is like 1,000 meters, and they're spotted for a while. And then on top of that, they also get spotted for the second time if they move, which means that he completely counters, or she, excuse me, counters complete aggressive play from some of the aggressive operators like Assault and Medic, making her very annoying. On top of that, she has access to like SMG-45 and Bison and some of the SMGs, that Roy and Toxik have access to, which is crazy. Or if you don't like that, you have snipers that have like 2000 kilometers per second muzzle velocity. If you don't prefer, the best weapons in the game, here are the other best weapons in the game. Or you can have shotguns like the 870, which one-shot you from 30 meters away. So make your pick. Then her passive also wall hacks you, and she can activate this passive just by AoE splash damage. She has frag grenades, she can just shoot a frag grenade at you, then you spot it. Or she has an Volt Arrow, Area of Denial ability, kind of like Uluru, I guess. Uluru's Incendiary, just revealing you and spotting you. Really crazy, annoying operator. And then, of course, her being a recon means that she has access to a spawn beacon, which is extremely small and produces seemingly no sound whatsoever when you pass it. So it's very hard to see it when you're like trying to find it, and her entire squad can spawn on it. And yeah, that makes her extremely oppressive. I would say she's probably the best operator in the game in the correct hands. Hackclaw, this is the other engineer, is, in my opinion, generally weaker than Luna, because she also has a hack spot ability, but which is generally for herself only, which makes her a little bit less overpowered than Luna, in my opinion, a little bit more grounded. However, she has a very annoying flash thrown. I'm sure you've seen it in the game if you played it. It just basically blinds you and it lasts forever. It's really annoying. And then she has a data knife. This is basically a throwing knife from Call of Duty, which can one-shot you. It can be really annoying in some situations. And then she has the respawn beacon and other things from the engineer class toolkit, right? But generally, as I said, weaker than Luna. Extremely fun. You still, as Luna, have access to SMG-45 and all the other very good weapons. So yeah, I would say for you, play Luna because you're gonna win more games, which means that you're gonna level up faster and so on. Hackclaw goes in A tier. D-Wolf, our first assault operator. Now, I would put D-Wolf into S tier, but there's a patch coming for him which is gonna nerf some of his capabilities, so we're gonna put D-Wolf into A tier. And D-Wolf, in my opinion, is a great operator if you play the game alone because of his ultimate, his exoskeleton, right? I call it the fisheye ultimate because it extends your FOV to maximum and gives you an odd Gaussian blur off the side of the screen. But it's an ultimate which is extremely powerful, which heals you every time you kill an enemy, and it extends the duration of the exoskeleton, and it gives you movement speed. Massively supporting aggressive play, and he's an assault operator that has access to 2 smoke bombs, as of right now anyway, which makes him even more aggressive than his counterpart Vyron. D-Wolf also has access to some great weapons like the M4A1, like the PTR-32 assault rifle. General assault rifles are amazing weapons in this game. Him having access to it is great. Then you have access to armor plate or the injection, though I personally prefer the injection because it heals you to full health immediately. It's faster healing actually than Roy or Toxik, which is crazy considering they're medics. And then he also has his triple blaster grenade launcher, which sometimes means that you can dislodge these annoying Ulurus or shepherds who are camping, and you can like shoot the rats in their nests with the triple blaster. Very fun gadget to use. So generally, he's very fun, and he has access to a tactical slide, basically slide from Call of Duty, which is great, which furthermore enhances his offensive capabilities. He's extremely fun. He has a very new cool skin. If you're into that stuff, you can buy that. Really fun operator, extremely strong, but comes with the caveat that you do have to go with the slide gameplay. I know for me personally, I love sliding. I think movement is a skill expression. I know for some people, maybe some of our older Battlefield players, they want a more static gameplay. But if you don't use the slide on him, then he definitely becomes weak in my opinion, which means you cannot really rush into angles, you cannot go into cover as quickly if you're not providing the slide. So yeah. Going into Vyron, and before we go into Vyron, I just wanted to mention something about Uluru, because I remember it now. When you use his weapons, the M250 and the PKM General Machine Guns, which would be the weapons you want to use on him only, you have to get used to the canted laser aiming. I wanted to mention this, which means you need a very good keybind for this. And why you want to have this is because the ADS time on those weapons for the head glitching position is extremely slow. Sometimes you do get rushed down by people like D-Wolf because of his aggressive capabilities. So having that on a good bind is highly recommended for me. Okay, Vyron. Vyron, the way I enjoy playing Vyron is more on defensive side because he has access to some incredible C4 magnetic bomb which you can throw from half a kilometer away, really denying aggressive pushes. While you can do this also of course from the attacker's positions and throw it into defensive positions, in my opinion, it's a little bit weaker because as Vyron, you don't have smoke grenade, so you have to peek and throw this on an angle where you're most likely going to get shot sometimes, depending in which lobbies you are, right? Making him a little bit less effective than D-Wolf, in aggressive positions. But in defensive positions, I think he's great. We're going to put Vyron as well into A tier. He's getting a little bit of nerfs now coming up as well. But as of right now, as of making this video, he's really fun. He also has very funny movement abilities with his jetpack dash, which is basically the counterpart version of Devo slide. It's used for movement. It's a bit easier to use than the slide because you just press it when you want to go to a position rather than knowing how to use the slide of Devo. So that's very fun. And then here we have his ultimate, the Crouching Tiger, which is basically a very, very big knockdown bomb, which furthermore enhances his defensive capabilities. You see a big rush coming down, you shoot this big Crouching Tiger grenade, and then you throw C4 onto all the people that are knocked on the ground. You can even have a tech where you throw the C4 and then you shoot the Crouching Tiger. Takes a little bit of practice on him, but when you get it down, he's very satisfying to play. And then he has access, like Devolf, to assault rifles, which are great weapons, and he can heal himself with 2 self-heal injections, making him extremely powerful in correct situations. Though I will say, unlike Devolf, he's a little bit more map-dependent, Vyron in my opinion. I think Vyron, for example, maybe sucks on Ascension, which is a very long map with massive open areas where you need smoke and you need a little bit more healing than what he provides. But on Threshold defense or Shafted defense, oh boy, if you ever meet a good Vyron there, yeah, he's gonna make you leave the lobby. Okay, going to Roy, our original medic from the playtest. I'm gonna put Roy into A tier. Why? Because for a few reasons. Roy has access to the most smoke in the game. He has 2 smoke grenades, he has a smoke ultimate, and he can take an ammo pack, his single packs, which actually resupplies smoke grenades, which is crazy. He can smoke it up so badly you won't see a thing in front of you until you shoot him in his stupid face and kill him and make sure that he's fucking dead. So that's why. He also, as a medic, of course, has access to the best weapons in the game. He can heal himself and allies with his ultimate, but that ultimate is also the reason why he's not in S tier, because while it is a great ability, being able to heal your teammates with the pistol, it's not really a bombastic ultimate like something what Toxik has, or Devolf, or even Vyron. Honestly, I think Vyron ultimate is better than Roy's. It's just a pistol that heals you and your teammates, kind of like, it's just a medpack basically, just a glorified fucking medpack, you know? It does have a passive where you rest people faster, I think in operations mode, but I'm playing Warfare mode, so that never really comes up really. It's just a stupid plastic nerf pistol, which makes him a little bit less powerful in the ultimate department. So that's Roy. Shepard, our final operator, this is the original engineer. I will put him in B tier. I think he's probably like the weakest operator in the game for a few reasons. The first one is, of course, he's an engineer, which means he cannot heal himself, which puts him into a category of the defensive operators. But when you compare him to Uluru, he's definitely weaker because he doesn't have his walls and he cannot create the head glitches that Uluru can, which means that you have to know the maps extremely well to peek some of these angles without not getting shot immediately in the face by 50 snipers as him. The best things about Terry is the fact that he has a very defensive drone that stuns and slows people's fire rate on their guns, making it extremely annoying. But also, a caveat is you need to know the maps, because this drone will get shot immediately if you do it incorrectly, and it has a quite longer cooldown than some of the other abilities. Then he has his traps. These are basically like mini claymores or Capcan traps from Rainbow Six Siege, which unfortunately don't one-shot people. If they one-shot people, I'll put them in S tier immediately. But they do like about 40 damage, alerting you to their position. This is great, but as I said, map knowledge is crucial with him. Knowing where to place those things is extremely important on him, making Terry Shepard extremely hard to play in my opinion. Very noob unfriendly, because if you don't use his kit correctly, you really just get your shit pushed in on him because he's an engineer and he cannot heal himself. So there's that. The best thing about him, in my opinion, is his passive, which reduces damage by, it seems, half. So when you're getting shot by Devolf or getting thrown grenades from Luna or other operators, he can withstand some of that damage and not die immediately, surprising people who rush in thinking that you are low on health, when in fact you still have like 60% health left, and then if you have a shotgun or some of the LMGs that killing a couple of shots, you can really surprise people. If I had to do some changes for him, I would make it that some of these mines do a little bit more damage. Yes, it's not super healthy for the game, but I think he needs a little bit more love to put him into the A tier where all the other general operators are, making the Delta Force experience for him a little bit more balanced. Overall, I will say that all of the Delta Force operators are quite, in line with one another, bar Luna and maybe Uluru, which is a good sign. So yeah, that's the tier list. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like and subscribe if you did. I'll see you next time.